focus of the lesson today was for the students to gather in small groups and to come up with some warm-up activities that could prepare them for a piece of German Lieder. So the idea was to look at all the different technical difficulties in learning a piece of music and combine them in different portions into a warm-up activity that everybody could do. So what we did beforehand was we discussed all the different things that warm-ups could prepare a student for example, range difficulties, diction problems, other kinds of technical aspects of a piece. After we're finished them, they'll look back and reflect on whether they were successful and possibly have a better understanding of when they do other kinds of music, how they can create their own warm-up activities.
If you don't warm up your voice, you could strain your voice very easily. There's been many times where I did not warm up properly and I felt it in the end, like it was not a good feeling. So you want to kind of take aspects of every single possible thing in a warm-up before you go on and perform.
What you're going to do is you're going to teach the class your warm-up, and we're going to run through that warm-up and see if it's effective.
So you start at 0, you move back, your finger back, and as your finger goes back, you're going to push your sound back into your throat. So it's going to go, starting here, and then as you go front, you're going to try and put your sound right in your mask and try to make a really nasally sound.
Your voice has many different sounds. It could either be a dark tone or a lighter tone, or it could just be a little bit of a mix between.
Preparing your voice through vocal warm-up is an ideal and vital technique to do prior to a performance, as it will warm up your range and it will prepare your voice and intonation through your mouth.
My goal is to get them to be singers beyond high school, and if they don't understand how to take care of their voice now, the challenge is later on, when they're not necessarily being guided, that they're going to know how to understand voice care, and a big part of that is the vocal warm-up.
Yeah, this is for the diction and for the pronunciation of the German text while we're working up the scale in the minor scale. So it's tanzen und springen, and you really have to emphasize on the springen. Tanzen und springen.
They can take any of these exercises and change the vowel colors to suit any language that they're moving to. They can change the diction. They can look at a piece of music, change the diction, but use the same pitches. But they can take all of those and apply them to other languages by changing the vowel, changing the consonant, changing the phraseology. So if they took a phrase out of the German text, they can take a phrase out of the Italian and apply it right to that exercise. So we also dealt with range with that activity as well, right? So we managed to get up to a high G, which was great.
The first warm-up we did with my group was the tomato potato. We went ascending chromatically and then back down descending, and it helped with the diction and just the pronunciation of the words and going chromatically up the scale.
And our words are tomato, potato. And what you want to be sure of is that you're pronouncing your consonants extremely well. And when you're saying the O in tomato and potato, you're keeping your lips forward and circular. Tomato, potato, tomato, potato.
You learn from other people and what they were able to come up with, and that also, I'm not particularly really strong in the chromatic scale, so the fact that we focused one of the warm-ups on the chromatic scale really helped me, and that I really enjoyed that particular warm-up.
This class is really helpful for creative risks because we're all comfortable with each other and we've known each other for quite a while, so we're all friends and stuff, and we're not embarrassed to do whatever because we know that no one's going to judge us. We're all going to do it together, and if we mess up, no one's going to care. They're just going to help us and get back up, and yeah, and you can do whatever you want and no one will judge you.
Good, very good.
Die Wägle sind Trüken. And in this sentence we have an umlaut, which is U in it, Trüken. And the way we're going to sing this is there are multiple beats. We have to hold certain words.
One of the things that we're looking at are their technical skills. Do they have the technical skills necessary to take that and move on to a choral setting, a solo setting. So some of these warm-ups are to create better technique and to advance their musical skills. So when they look back at some of the exercises they've done in the past, other than the ones that they've created, they can decide which ones work the best for them through the warm-up, what they have the most success at, and then use those to actually prepare to perform their pieces in the future.
So this exercise is perfect because we're working on the umlaut vowel as well as range issues in one.
So we're going up the scale on the umlaut and coming down on O.
So for this one, we are not going to be using the piano. We're just going to work on diction because it is one of the most important parts of singing a German song.
It's your diaphragm as well. It's your pulsing while you're saying each consonant.
Now try it with your hand on your stomach. Now do you feel your stomach pulsing?
We're going to try it a little faster and we're going to keep up the speed.
Okay.
1, 2.
We're also going to have a group come up and demonstrate some seventh jumps, because oftentimes in German Lieder there are some very difficult jumps. And when you look through a piece of music, you need to find those kinds of things to do some vocal warm-ups to prepare you for it.
It just helps expand your range, and it helps with your flexibility in the upper range and jumping from the upper to the lower to the upper range.
When I go to assess the students, I look at a few things. I look, first of all, how they were working in a group. Did everybody participate the same? And they actually do some self-reflection on that as well. If they were working on range, did they actually do an exercise that covers range? Or was it a smaller intervallic relationship exercise? I also evaluate the ability to teach the exercise. Did they come across properly? Did they rehearse it enough? And then were they successful as a group performing that actual activity?
So I was just wondering, for the one that we just did, the warm-up, where is our placement? Like, how are we singing it? Is it back in the throat or is it more forward?
It's going to be an S sound, so it's going to be closer to the front of your face, so more in your mask. It's not a deep back sound like how we're doing in the finger exercise.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we have our last warm-up. It's going to be a fun warm-up, something that all of you can relate to as teenagers, apparently, all about vampires. So Evan's group is going to come up and demonstrate this activity in the minor scale, a minor mode.
The vampires came out to play and drank my blood away.
We're ascending in a natural minor scale and then descending in a harmonic minor scale.
We learned German songs, Italian songs, all different languages. The warm-ups that we did today, you can do them for any language. Just change it up a little bit.
Very well done, folks. You really addressed some of the issues that we would find in German Lieder, German song, and you looked at some of the things that could cause some difficulties. So these are really good warm-ups that you created, and you can do that with every kind of music that you come across. It doesn't matter which language it's in, it doesn't matter what type of music it is, and you'll be able to use these things when you go on past high school, because I know some of you are going into the music field.
Teachers should have a good relationship with the students, and there should be that good communication. I've been inspired because we've had such a positive teacher.
Support your students, most definitely. If I didn't have the support from my teacher, I would not be where I am today. I don't even know if I would be able to handle the program.
I plan on taking music post-secondary, so this program really influenced me a lot in my decision.